Welcome back to the mini vlog, and this week we're talking about the good, the bad, the ugly of the new mini infotainment system that you find on all 2025 models.
The good.
So first let's talk about what's good on this screen, and it's the hardware overall. The resolution of the screen, the brightness of the screen, the responsiveness of the screen is really good. You can see it well in daylight. It looks really beautiful. The colors are very vivid. So they did a really good job picking some good hardware, and if equipped, the cool projectors that sits behind the infotainment screen to project light onto the dash, also really cool. Next up is the menus. While there are lots of menus in this infotainment system, once you get used to where they are and maybe make some shortcuts, they're all really self-explanatory, clear, concise, and they come with a really cool little helpful pictogram to help you understand what that menu is going to do. And speaking of menus and settings, there are so many settings in this new infotainment system. Previous generations didn't really have nearly as many settings as this does. You can change things from the massage type, the color lighting projected on the dash, the lock behavior, what the car does when it locks, unlocks, when, how, does it fold in the mirrors? The list just really goes on and on. Those are things that you didn't get in previous generations. Another fun thing about this infotainment system, you have all these fun cameras, including one inside where you can take videos, pictures, bursts, things like that. Finally, updates. This new infotainment system is built off of a modern Android SDK, software development kit, which means it has the ability to be updated OTA, over the air. And so this is something that the last generation kind of had, but you never really saw an update happen. Now it's truly connected to the internet, and it does receive updates. I've already received 2 updates since owning the car. So this is a big plus. The car can get updates, fixes can happen, improvements can be made to this infotainment system now that this is a truly connected over-the-air update system.
The bad.
Now let's talk about the bad of this infotainment system. Sometimes the software can be a little slow. Now the screen is responsive, but the software is a little slow sometimes. Not all the time, and it's something you'll get used to, but especially during startup when you have all these warning messages, it's a little slow to get those out of the way. But this could also potentially be fixed in the future with an over-the-air update, so fingers crossed for that. It's not terrible, but it could be better. Second thing that's bad is the Spike virtual assistant, or when you say, hey Spike or hey Mini, and the car responds to you, it can really only do car-related things. Roll down the windows, change the temperature, and tell you a few Mini-related jokes. It can't actually do what a real virtual assistant does on your phone, which is tell you answers to math problems, how old an actor is, go Google search things for you. So it's only mildly useful in the car, and I'm not sure it's fast enough to be really useful at all. By the time it understands my hot word and my command, I could have just rolled down the window manually myself. The final thing that's bad about this is the amount of menus and options in here could be overwhelming. It'll take a little bit of time for you to get used to all of the options you can change in here and maybe make some shortcuts for things that you use most often. But otherwise, there's a lot in there and it just gets a little confusing at first. But once you get used to it, I think you can probably take this off the bad list and put it up to the good list. Another thing that's bad about this is fingerprints. Since it's a touchscreen, you're constantly touching it and there's fingerprints all over it. So make sure you have yourself a really nice, good, soft cleaning cloth to get the fingerprints off of the screen periodically.
The ugly.
And finally, let's end on a bad note, the ugly. The ugly part about this infotainment system is just one thing for me, and it's the subscription model that it has. This is really not a mini thing. I hope that this goes away in the future. But yeah, the subscription-based model that it has, where some of these features are required with a subscription of $100 a year, just doesn't sit right with me. So I'm gonna put that in the ugly. And so yeah, that's gonna round out the good, the bad, the ugly about this infotainment screen. Let me know down in the comments below what you think is good, what you think is bad, and what you think is ugly, and let's talk about it down there. But for now, when you see other minis out there, don't forget to wave. I'll catch you all in the next one.